AJ Smith-Shawver came 6 outs from a no-hitter last night against the Cincinnati Reds. Has he finally ascended into a no-doubt MLB starting pitcher? Let's talk about it. Yes, welcome on in to Braves Today for Tuesday, May 6th. Your source of news, notes, and updates on your Atlanta Braves. I'm your host, Lindsay Crosby. You can follow me on social media at Crosby Baseball. You can follow the show on X, Braves_Today. We have a Facebook page and an Instagram as well. And you can find all of my written work, BravesToday.com. That's the Braves Today Substack, as this is both a podcast and a newsletter. There is a lot of overlap between the pod and the newsletter at times. Today's not one of those days. Great, really fun article, newsletter that came out this morning about the Atlanta Braves leading baseball in outs of 110 miles an hour or more. And we pulled the video of all of them to talk about the trends in there, what happened, and just, it's a fun little piece. We're not going to go into it here on the on the podcast, so go check it out again. BravesToday.com, free or paid, supports everything we're doing over here at Braves Today. I want to get to the gruesome injury from Tyler Callihan in last night's game in Matt Olson's inside the park home run and what needs to be done there. I want to get to the future of the rotation given the updates we have now on Spencer Strider and when he might be back. But first, we have to talk about AJ Smith-Shawver. He goes 8 scoreless innings last night. And he did a couple firsts in this one, okay? In the majors, in all of his starts, 11 starts, 1 in the postseason, in the majors, he had never made it into the 6th inning. Ever. 5 2/3 was the most he had done. In the minors, 59 starts. He's finished the 7th inning twice, but he never recorded an out in the 8th. And so last night, against the Reds, of course, he goes 7 no-hit innings, finally loses the no-hitter to the leadoff batter in the 8th inning. Santiago Espinal hits a fastball into center field for a single. And immediately, the crowd gives him a standing ovation. I love it for AJ Smith-Shawver. And he talked about that after the game. Like, he acknowledged that he heard it, he appreciated it, and like it meant a lot that he got the standing ovation. And then my favorite part here is he gets through the 8th inning, right? He gets Blake Dunn to pop out. He then gets a double play from TJ Friedl that erases the base runner and gets him out of the inning. A couple things stood out to me from a pitch mix mechanical standpoint in this game for AJ Smith-Shawver, as well as just the general progression of the game, right? The first one is how he used his fastball. Okay, we've talked before about his fastball. The velocity is good, and he was throwing it harder last night than he typically has in the season. His average fastball velocity last night was 95.3. His average this year was 94.5. So 0.8 of a mile an hour harder on average. He touched 97.6 with it. And the softest one he threw was only 93. So it's not like he was dipping down to 91 or 90 to make it through the outing, right? He had good velocity all the way through and was pumping plenty of those. But the usage and where he was putting the fastball was really exciting. And I love CJ Nitkowski on the broadcast. I know not everybody does. He's a little more stat heavy than some other commentators and things that we have are. And I'm a big fan of what he brings to the broadcast. I used to always listen to the radio feed and watch the TV broadcast, and I found myself watching the TV broadcast more to get CJ's insights. But CJ wasn't there last night. Tom Glavine was in the booth. And I thought it was really interesting to hear how excited Tom Glavine was getting about AJ's ability to land the low strike. Because in Tom Glavine's day, you threw down in the zone. Like, that was a thing that you did. And then we had the revolution in the back half of last decade and continuing a little bit in this decade of throwing the fastball up so that the induced vertical break can make guys swing underneath it. And AJ threw plenty of them up, but he threw plenty of them down too. And I think this is now the game plan we've seen in the last two starts for AJ, both of which have been very good, is the book on him was take the fastball because he's not going to be around the zone enough with it. Take the fastball and guard against the splitter. And you could see last night, he got 14 called strikes on the fastball. Now, they did have plenty of swings. They weren't fully executing that game plan, right? They were swinging at the fastball. 27 swings in 57 pitches. 5 whiffs, 14 called strikes, 10 foul balls, 12 balls in play. But the fact that he was able to establish the low fastball meant that the splitter worked off of that so much better. And the two pitches tunnel really well to an extent. Like, he can't throw the fastball up in the zone and then drop the splitter out of the zone down for a strike. That's too much difference, and you can visually tell them apart. But it feels like AJ Smith-Shawver learned you can throw the fastball down in the zone and then tunnel the splitter off of that, and you're going to get swing and miss, you're going to get chased. I think the lefties really struggled against that splitter last night. Just the way that he would throw the fastball like out on the black outside to a lefty, and then the splitter would look like it was going to the same place and then drop off the table down and away. I thought it was just masterful. And AJ explained after the game that he hasn't really had the fastball early in the year, but he's feeling it recently. Quote, I was just feeling weird about my fastball early on in the year this year. And so it was just getting back to the basics and what I do. Driving the ball low and up in the zone. Just feeling more natural and kind of just putting some things together as we go on. Now, he didn't do all of this in a vacuum, right? Nick Allen made 2 very good defensive plays early in this game. I want to say the first inning and the third inning. Like 2 really good defensive plays. And everybody, all of the quotes coming out of the game last night, everybody was very excited for AJ. AJ was very excited to see all the support that he got. But Nick Allen said there wasn't extra pressure, but like he was like, you got to lay out for everything. Keep making these plays. And apparently AJ went to Nick Allen during the game and was like, and thanked him for making these plays. And Allen reported that he said, just keep pitching, man. Keep doing your thing. A lot of the comments from like Matt Olson talked to the media about it. Sean Murphy talked to the media about it. They're all really happy for him. They said he handled the demotion really well. He's handled his business since he came back up. He's really good in the clubhouse. And Smith-Shawver said that Murphy did a really great job of guiding him through the outing and getting him to a career-long 8 complete innings. And it's only the second time this year, by the way, that a major league pitcher has allowed 1 or fewer hits through 8 scoreless innings this year. It's him and Mitchell Parker of the Nationals, which are probably 2 guys I did not expect to ever say had a no-hitter going or went that deep in the game with only 1 hit allowed. Like, nothing against Mitchell Parker. It's a nice dude, but like, I didn't expect that from him either. Snit did tell Smith-Shawver in the dugout while it was going on that he would have had 120 pitches to work with. He finished the 8th inning at 99. So were he to have a no-hitter going, they would have sent him back out for the 9th. And assuming the same pitch count as if he didn't give up that leadoff hit, just change it to a walk or something maybe, he would have had about 21 pitches to work with to get the no-hitter through 9. I love the idea of letting a young kid push himself a little farther than he usually does for an achievement like that. I'm 100% on board with it. I love the idea. In just a minute, I want to talk about what happens now, right? Because your rotation is in a place where you really can't afford to get rid of anybody. And we'll do that next, right here on Braves Today. But first, today's episode is brought to you by our friends at Chinook Seedery. It is the absolute best sunflower seeds on the market. I love getting all the comments from you guys in the YouTube chat, on social media. You guys are like, hey, I placed my Chinook Seedery order. They're absolutely amazing. Let me know what you like the most. Like, which flavor is your favorite? Because they have 8. The original is just a perfect blend of saltiness and sweetness. It's not too salty. You don't get that sandpaper tongue. It's great. Lemon pepper. I had a bag of those at my daughter's soccer game last night before I came home for the Braves game. Jalapeno ranch. It's a really interesting flavor, like both some spice and like the creaminess. It's good. Smokehouse barbecue, surprisingly complex flavor. Hatch chili, just bold heat. Dill pickle, cinnamon toast, Parmesan and pepper. 8 amazing flavors. Again, ChinookSeedery.com, ChinookSeedery.com, Seedery.com. Promo code BRAVES gets you a couple things. One, if you buy their sampler pack, all 8 flavors, you can test them out. It's a bag, it's 8 bags. If you're watching on YouTube, it's like a 2-ounce bag of all 8 flavors to try. You get 10% off of that. They give you free shipping on sampler packs all the time. Once you figure out which ones you like, you can either just buy a variety pack, which is all 8 different flavors in a case, or you can build your own case with just the flavors you like. Again, promo code BRAVES gets you 10% off, also gets you free shipping on orders over $40. So, ChinookSeedery.com, promo code BRAVES, 10% off, free shipping on orders over $40, and it supports the Braves Today podcast. That's ChinookSeedery.com, promo code BRAVES. Welcome back to Braves Today. Lindsay Crosby talking about AJ Smith-Shawver's no-hitter last night, or no-hit bid last night. Clarify there. And I think you're in a really interesting situation now, because AJ Smith-Shawver got optioned down to the minors in mid-April. You can't send him back down after this. He absolutely is going to stay up. He has to. He's pitched too well to go down. He finished that outing to get sent down the first time. And you did anyway. Now, he handled it the right way. Matt Olson was quoted in a lot of the post-game articles from the beat after the game, saying it's not an easy game by any means. It's not easy to get to the big leagues. It's even harder to stay up here, which AJ knows for a fact. A lot of guys have to go through the ups and downs and weather the storm a little bit. He's always had a good attitude anytime he's gone down or come back up. Seamlessly fit back in. It's a good dude in the clubhouse and a great pitcher, so you really get excited for nights like this. Everybody else kept raving about it, right? Alex Anthopoulos apparently came down to talk to him after he came out of the 8th inning. And you're now at a really interesting situation because you have a full 5-man rotation. You have Grant Holmes, who has pitched really well his last 2 times out. You have Bryce Elder, who has pitched really well his last 2 times out. You have AJ Smith-Shawver, who has pitched really well his last 2 times out. You have Chris Sale, who is pitching better. He's getting results more like Cy Young Chris Sale than like the struggling major league starter that he was early this year. You have Spencer Schwellenbach, who started off with Cy Young-like results and has regressed a little bit, but still, even during this rough stretch, gave you 2 quality starts. So, you have a full 5-man rotation right now. We also got the update last night that Spencer Strider has been cleared for long toss. He was playing catch. Now he's throwing long. Now he's been cleared for long toss. So he will get back on a mound soon. He may or may not need a rehab appearance, depending on how long it takes, he could be back. I would assume he's probably back by the end of the month. Assuming that nobody drops off, assuming that you don't have any significant performance issues or another injury, you have to figure out what to do next. Do you make it a 6-man rotation? And in that case, who in the bullpen is expendable? Do you send Elder or Smith-Shawver back to AAA? Do you send Spencer Schwellenbach back to AAA? Like, you have to figure out how to manage this. It feels like on the offensive side, there's easy decisions here, right? Ronald's going to come back. We have an update on that in just a second, by the way. Ronald's going to come back, and you can either launch Eddie Rosario into the sun, or you can DFA Stuart Fairchild. I feel like they'll probably launch Rosario into the sun. They haven't really wanted to play him other than that one start he got on April 30th? Yeah, on April 30th. He hasn't really played outside of that. So, just launch him into the sun. But on the pitching side, everybody's pitching too well to get rid of right now. And I know, couple weeks, anything could happen. Somebody could have a couple stumbles. Somebody could get hurt. But it's a really interesting, this is the rotation depth that we were hoping to have. I feel like just a couple weeks ago, we were talking about, can we even find 5 quality starters? And now, after just a couple outings, really good outings, by each of the back-end guys, by a Grant Holmes, by an Elder, by a Smith-Shawver, now we're in the conversation of, how do you make it work with a 6th guy? I think you probably should do a 6th starter. We saw how the extra rest helped everybody last year. We saw how you didn't really start seeing the injury issues come up in the rotation until you shifted from 6 to 5, right? Ronaldo Lopez went down, ended up being twice, right? Shoulder and then elbow. Chris Sale had the back issues at the end of the year, the back spasms and stuff. You didn't really start having guys drop until you went to the 5-man rotation. So going back to 6 makes sense, but then again, you got to, is it Rafael Montero? Is it Scott Blewett? One of those guys is probably going to have to go. I would assume it's Montero. I don't know, though. That's what makes this difficult. There's no easy decisions here, but it's a good problem to have. Again, the decision on the offensive side is not hard, right? It's Eddie Rosario or Stuart Fairchild, and my choice is get rid of Rosario. We did get an update on Ronald Acuña Jr. The original, we actually got 2 updates that were contradictory, okay? The first update we got from the media last night was that Ronald was going to go to LA one more time to have his quad strength checked out and tested before being cleared for a rehab start. That came from Brian Snitker when he talked to the media before the game. They then later updated that, hour or something later, saying that the Braves did in fact speak to Dr. Neil Elatrache yesterday, on Monday, and Ronald did not need to go back to LA. And I'm assuming the logistics of this here were the training staff maybe checked in with him and Snit didn't know about it yet. And so they wanted to update when Snit said, oh yeah, he has to go back out. They're like, oh yeah, no, we checked on that. He doesn't have to. So I'm not putting anything on Snit for that. It probably just happened around the same time and he just didn't get the update in time to tell the media. That's fine. So Ronald will go out on a rehab stint at some point in time this month. And the common assumption around the beat is that late May is the realistic target for him to come back to the lineup. And the fact that they keep talking specifically about his quad, I know that you're somewhat limited in what you can do while you're rehabbing an ACL tear, but we saw him sprinting in Northport on social media before pitchers and catchers reported. I have no inside info here. It feels like there had to be some sort of minor setback, right? Some sort of tweak or twinge or pain, minor strain, something. Because it doesn't make sense that he would be able to do the running and all of that stuff back in February. And then when he finally gets cleared by the doctor to be cutting and doing full outfield drills and all of that stuff, it takes him a full month to get to the point where he can play in a game. That doesn't make sense. There has to be some sort of minor setback that has not yet been reported. Again, that's speculation. I don't have any sort of inside info here. Obviously, he missed the date that people close to him were saying was when he wanted to make it back, which was the Dodgers series. But the only explanation here is that something happened. Something minor happened. But obviously, they're not concerned enough for him to go back out to LA on it. And again, we should see him, I would assume, by the end of the month, which would be really exciting. We'll have a conversation then about Verdugo, White, Harris, Acuña, who sits on an everyday basis, who do you platoon? You can't really take Verdugo out. He's doing so well as a leadoff hitter. Do you try to shoehorn White into some infield stuff? Does Michael Harris take a break? We'll figure that out. In just a second, there was a prominent injury in that game. Tyler Callihan broke his forearm trying to make a catch on a Matt Olson foul ball. Olson got a home run, inside the park home run out of it, and there's been a lot of confusion about the catch, no catch, and all of that stuff. We'll break down the rules next, right here on Braves Today. Welcome back to Braves Today. Lindsay Crosby, and I want to talk about this Tyler Callihan injury. A couple aspects of this. One, I hate this for Tyler Callihan, okay? Backstory here for those of you who don't know. I've actually met Tyler Callihan. Back in 2023, in September, early September, I called a week of games in AA. I was filling in for the fill-in broadcaster after Tampa Bay called him up to the majors to fill in the majors, right? So the guy that they hired to finish the rest of the season had to miss a week, so I stepped in and called a week of games in Montgomery. And they were playing Chattanooga, who was the AA affiliate of Cincinnati. And Tyler had just gotten there the end of August. Really nice kid. He had a great series, too. 8 of 23. He was batting .348, had 900 OPS, multiple doubles, flying around the yard. Really good kid. But he's dealt with a lot of injuries in his career. And it's frustrating for him. So he was drafted in 2019. He lost 2020. Nobody played the minors in 2020. In 2021, he strained his elbow and had to have Tommy John surgery. In 2022, the day he returned from Tommy John surgery, he got in a car wreck and tore the UCL of his thumb. So he missed the rest of that season. Or he missed quite a while. Came back in 2023, made it up into AA for the end of the season. And then in 2024, he broke his finger trying to bunt and missed 2 months of the year. Like, he's had a lot of fluky, weird injuries, okay? Or just fluky missed time. But he finally made the majors like a week and a half ago. Got his first hit, was an RBI on like Saturday or Sunday, and was starting in left field. And if you haven't seen the replay, one, be advised, it's gruesome. But he's running full speed to catch a Matt Olson fly ball in the left field corner at Truist, where it's really hard to see on a lot of the broadcast angles. It's like it's limited visibility over there. But he's running in. He makes the catch with his arm outstretched and just smashes into the wall. He breaks his forearm, apparently, what we find out, in multiple places, and he falls to the ground. And when he falls to the ground, and he rolls over, the ball falls out of his glove. It's ruled not a catch. Matt Olson goes around to score. And Cincinnati challenges the fact that it was a no-catch call. They review it. The umpires uphold the ruling that it was not a catch. And a lot of people are angry. And unfortunately, and TJ Friedel of the Reds talked to the media after the game and acknowledged, and so did Terry Francona, it's the right rule. The rule just needs to be changed. So what the rule book says, and this is 509A1, okay? It explains the catch, securing possession in your hand or glove or whatever, provided you don't use your cap or any other piece of your equipment to make the catch. Quote, "It is not a catch, however, if simultaneously or immediately following his contact with the ball, he collides with a player or with a wall, or if he falls down and as a result of such collision or falling, drops the ball." The point here, and Wiley Ballard did a great job on the broadcast of explaining this. If you voluntarily go to take the ball out of your glove and it hits the ground, it's still a catch, right? So if you're an infielder and you're trying to make a turn at second base for a double play, and when you go to pull the ball out, it just comes out of your hand, hits the ground, it still counts as a catch for purposes of making the out at second base. If you're an outfielder who's trying to gear up to throw a runner out, who's trying to advance on a catch at third or at home or whatever, and the ball comes out of your hand when you're making the transfer, it is a catch. If the ball falls out of your glove for any reason outside of you intentionally trying to remove it to continue the play, it is not a catch. And I agree that rule sucks. In a situation like this, the thing that confuses me is you can have ground rules in certain ballparks where if the ball gets wedged under the padding in the outfield, they can blow the play dead and you can reach out and pull the ball out. Or in Chicago, in Wrigley, if it gets stuck in the ivy, they can blow the play dead. But a situation like this where he made the catch and then suffered a catastrophic injury, there's nothing they can do to stop the play. The play just gets to keep going until somebody can run over there from center field or from third base to get the ball and throw it back in. I remember getting mad when Jazz Chisholm got an inside the park home run in 2021, when Ronald Acuña Jr. tore his ACL trying to make a leaping catch at the wall at Truist. I remember getting mad about that. At the same time, I understand a little better now because, one, you're coached to just continue the play until they blow it dead, until they call it dead. And I wonder what it would have looked like, what kind of flack Matt Olson might have gotten if he had pulled up at third, right? Being gentlemanly, sportsmanship, whatever. And then Cincinnati came back and ended up winning the game by 1 run, right? It would have been, how bad would it have looked if he had voluntarily not scored and then we lost the game by a run? So, rock in a hard place. Matt Olson ultimately handled that right, continue the play until they stop it. The real issue is the rules need to be different. There needs to be some sort of ability to stop the play when there's a clear and obvious catastrophic injury, so that it's not on the players to make a decision while they're running the bases. It's not on the center fielder to run halfway across the outfield to go get that ball and throw it in. There's got to be a better system here. Again, if you can stop play because of ivy or because of outfield padding, you can stop play for something like this. Callahan's heading back to Cincinnati today for surgery. He's expected to miss, I believe, the rest of the year. And even if he comes back, I imagine they probably end up sending him back to AAA just to kind of get back into playing shape. He's able to make it back for the year end. So I absolutely hate this for him. This sucks. Again, I met him back in 2023. Super nice dude. Just wanted to play baseball. And he's had that taken away from him multiple times. And I think we can all agree it sucks, right? This has been Braves Today for Tuesday, May 6th. Do me a favor, if you're listening on audio, leave a 5-star review, Apple, Spotify, whatever Google uses for their podcasts nowadays. They keep changing it. I don't know. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and then maybe go check out bravestoday.com. We're doing today's 3 things from every game with recaps. We've got the daily deep dives every morning. We've got the AA report every Monday from Josh Fuller, the official scorer of the Columbus Clingstones, contributing to us every week. So go check all that out. Until next time, this has been Braves Today.